In a small, forgotten village, cradled by misty hills, lived a quiet boy named Noah. He didn't speak much, not because he couldn't, but because words felt too small to hold the sprawling dreams that lived inside him. Every single night you could find him under the soft, flickering glow of the lone street lamp, his sketchbook open on his lap. He wasn't drawing what he saw. He was drawing what he hoped to see. Bridges that hadn't been built yet, faces that hadn't smiled in years, and trees that hadn't even begun to grow. But here's the strange and wonderful thing. Everything Noah drew eventually came true. It all started on one particularly bleak, rainy night. The village was cold and empty. A terrible storm had swept through, destroying all the crops and with them the villagers' hope. Noah, huddled under his small umbrella, felt the chill in his bones and the sadness in the air. So he opened his sketchbook and drew a picture of a magnificent golden sunrise breaking over fields of fresh green sprouts. The next morning, the villagers woke up, rubbing their eyes in disbelief. The storm had vanished without a trace. Warm, brilliant sunlight poured over fields that were now miraculously covered in healthy young crops. They called it a miracle, a blessing from above. But Noah knew, deep down, it was something else. He had a gift, a quiet, powerful gift to draw tomorrow into existence. Word of the miracle spread like wildfire. Soon the entire village came to him with their hopes and their heartaches. A worried mother, her eyes filled with tears, asked him to draw her sick child healthy and playing again. A poor farmer, his face etched with worry, begged him to draw his lost cow, his only livelihood, returning home. A lonely old man, who hadn't had a visitor in years, simply asked for a friend to share stories with. And Noah, with his big, kind heart, drew for them all. He poured his empathy onto the pages. Each delicate line of his pencil was a wish, a prayer, a promise. Each picture he drew became a reality the very next day. The sick child was suddenly laughing in the yard. The lost cow was found grazing by the river, and a friendly traveler appeared at the old man's door, staying for tea. The village was slowly healing, one drawing at a time. But every miracle came with a price. With each act of creation, Noah felt a little bit of his own energy fade away. After each drawing, his hands grew a little weaker, his face a little paler. The vibrant color of his own life seemed to be seeping into the pages of his sketchbook. One evening, his mother found him trembling beside his book, his breath coming in short, shallow gasps. "Noah, my love, you have to stop," she whispered, her voice cracking as tears streamed down her face. "You're giving too much of yourself away." He managed a faint, gentle smile. "But, Mama," he said softly, "if I stop drawing, what if tomorrow stops coming too?" Then, one harsh winter, a dark shadow fell over the village. A strange illness spread with alarming speed, touching every family, filling every home with fear and despair. The town doctor, overwhelmed and helpless, packed his bags and left. The once hopeful villagers, now gripped by terror, turned to Noah one last time. "Noah, please," they pleaded, their faces a mask of desperation. "Draw us a cure. You're our only hope." He looked down at his trembling hands, which could barely hold the pencil anymore. The graphite was worn down to a tiny stub. He was exhausted, faded. But seeing the fear in their eyes, he nodded. He would try it. He began to draw, but this time he didn't draw medicine or doctors. He drew light. He drew a warm, healing glow pouring from every window. He sketched every villager's face, not in sickness, but with a bright, healthy smile. He drew every heart, not with fear, but filled with peace. And for the final touch, he drew a sunrise more brilliant and magnificent than any he had ever imagined. It was his masterpiece of hope. As he added the last ray of light, the pencil, now completely worn away, rolled from his limp fingers. His mother rushed to his side, calling his name, but his eyes had already closed. He was at peace. The next morning, the village awoke not to the sounds of coughing and crying, but to a profound, warm silence. Golden light, just as Noah had drawn it, streamed through every window, chasing away the shadows and the sickness. The illness was gone, just like that. Children's laughter echoed through the streets again, and impossibly, through the thick blanket of snow, small, vibrant flowers began to bloom. There, in the middle of the village square, sat Noah's sketchbook, left open to his final drawing. A perfect, colourful, living portrait of their village, healed and whole. And at the top of the page, in his soft, gentle handwriting, were the words, "Tomorrow is a gift." If we care enough to draw it, years passed. The village didn't just survive, it thrived. It grew and prospered, becoming a beacon of hope in the valley. But no one ever forgot the quiet boy who drew their tomorrows. They built a small art school in his name, the Noah Atelier, where children were taught not just how to draw, but how to believe in the power of what they create. On the school's main wall, a beautiful mural captures him forever, Noah. Sitting under his street lamp, sketchbook in hand, a quiet, knowing smile on his face. And even today, the villagers say that sometimes, when the sun rises in a particularly beautiful way, painting the sky with impossible colors, if you listen very, very closely, you can still hear the soft, gentle sketching of a pencil on the wind. The story of Noah reminds us that our actions today are the sketches of our tomorrow. What we imagine with kindness, what we build with hope, becomes real, one dream, one stroke, one heart at a time. Thank you so much for joining me on this story. If it touched your heart, please consider liking this video and subscribing for more tales that inspire. Until next time, keep drawing your own beautiful tomorrows.